Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate home for all things Liverpool FC. Today we've got a massive update from Anfield, Konaté's injury blow, Chiesa's transfer breakthrough, Guehi's January links, Van Dijk concerns, and Zubimendi's honest admission, plus a ruthless verdict on Hugo Ekitike after his France debut. Stay tuned, Reds. This one's packed with drama, transfers, and breaking news you can't miss. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Ibrahima Konaté released from France squad as Liverpool injury concerns continue. Liverpool will assess the fitness of Ibrahima Konaté ahead of the Premier League clash against Manchester United next weekend. Ibrahima Konaté has been released from the France squad and will return to Liverpool to continue his recovery from a thigh injury. Konate was called up by his national team earlier this week despite limping off shortly after halftime of the Reds' 2-1 Premier League defeat at Chelsea last Saturday. The centre-back sat out training for several days before being involved in a session on Wednesday at Clairefontaine. However, he failed to feature from the bench during the 3-0 Home World Cup qualifying win over Azerbaijan on Friday night and has now been replaced by Marseille defender Benjamin Pavard for the game in Iceland on Monday. While there is no suggestion Konate has aggravated the problem, that he will not have featured in either game for his national team will be a concern for Liverpool boss Arne Slot. Konate is one of only 3 recognized centre-backs at Slot's disposal, with teenager Giovanni Leone having been ruled out for the season after suffering an ACL injury in the League Cup win over Southampton a fortnight ago. Liverpool will ascertain Konaté's fitness on his return to the AXA training centre ahead of the resumption of their season with the Premier League visit of bitter Northwest rivals Manchester United next Sunday. Federico Chiesa agreement reached as Liverpool January plan takes shape. Federico Chiesa has prompted much debate among Liverpool supporters this season, and he could now have a new role to play for Arne Slot. They aren't the only Liverpool players to dominate the discourse during a testing first 2 months of the season, but the immediate futures of Federico Chiesa and Mohamed Salah could now become entwined. For Reds boss Arne Slot, few could argue against Salah being nowhere near his devastating best this campaign. While Chiesa has predominantly made the most of his first-team opportunities with 2 goals and 2 assists in less than 180 minutes of action, Salah has helped Egypt qualify for the World Cup this week and could be missing for up to 10 games from Christmas onwards due to participating in the Africa Cup of Nations for his country. And while Slot has tentatively earmarked Jeremy Frimpong for the right flank role in Salah's absence, could Chiesa become a realistic option? The Echo writers take a look. Paul Gorst, while far from his vintage best in the early weeks of the new season, a late December period without Mohamed Salah should be a prospect that concerns Arne Slot. It's one of the busiest times of the Premier League calendar, so the idea of losing the Egyptian talisman is far from ideal. But it is at least something Liverpool are used to, with the Africa Cup of Nations rolling around every 2 years. The expensive rebuild of the forward department in the summer means the likes of Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, and Florian Wirtz will be made to shoulder the responsibility for the goals and assists in Salah's absence, while Cody Gakpo will also be expected to decisively contribute. But as the Salah door gets set to temporarily close for Slot, the window for Federico Chiesa opens, and a fit and firing Italian could be just what is needed later this season. The man of the match cameo against Southampton in the Carabao Cup was followed up by an equalizer off the bench at Crystal Palace recently, but momentum has been halted this time out by a minor knock that kept him out of the trip to Galatasaray before he kicked his heels on the bench at Chelsea also. If he can get nearer to full pelt by the end of December, however, Chiesa will be the best fit to fill in where Salah won't be, and while that is something that has been said seemingly time and again during the former Juventus man's time on Merseyside, the AFCON will leave Slot with few alternatives. Jeremy Frimpong was signed as someone who could deputize for Salah, but Chiesa is much more of a natural fit as a frontman. Frimpong, despite his versatility, is effectively a wingback filling in. AFCON could be Chiesa's time to shine then, if he can get fit enough. Ian Doyle, first things first. Mohamed Salah will soon rediscover his mojo. and that he has scored twice for Egypt in midweek will hopefully act as a boost for his confidence and settle any concerns he may have over his game. Salah isn't going to become inessential overnight, and as such, Liverpool are going to miss him when he disappears for the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, which runs between December 21 and January 18th. Jeremy Frimpong had appeared the most likely replacement, with Arne Slot already attempting to blood him in the position. Hugo Ekitike could presumably also do a job given his versatility across the front line, but will perhaps be needed elsewhere, while Cody Gakpo for now remains the first choice on the left flank, although he did play on the right when Salah was at the AFCON 2 years ago. Easy to forget. Though that when Federico Chiesa was brought from Juventus last summer, it was primarily as understudy to Salah. Such chances have been scarce since. Chiesa, though, has become a more viable attacking alternative for Liverpool this season, and should be given minutes over the next few months with a view to potentially stepping in for the Egyptian. Will he start every game when Salah is away? No. But with so many fixtures around the festive period in various competitions, there should be opportunities for Chiesa to stake a claim, and unlike last season, he has proven he can make a positive difference. Liverpool sent January message over Marc Guehi transfer amid Virgil van Dijk fears former Liverpool midfielder. Danny Murphy is adamant his old club must complete Marc Guehi transfer in January. Liverpool have been told they must go all out to sign Marc Guehi in January to help ease the pressure on Virgil van Dijk to remain fit. The Reds had agreed a $35 million deal for Guehi on transfer deadline day at the start of last month, only for Crystal Palace to pull the plug, having been unable to sign a suitable replacement. Guehi has responded with a series of impressive performances for Palace, including in the 2-1 win over Liverpool at Selhurst Park a fortnight ago. Liverpool presently have only 3 senior centre-backs available, with summer signing Giovanni Leone ruled out for the season after surgery to repair ACL damage. The Reds had initially intended to make another move for Guehi at the end of the season when he becomes a free agent, with the expiry of his contract at Palace. Real Madrid, though, are now among a number of other leading European clubs keeping tabs on Guehi, with former Liverpool midfielder Danny Murphy convinced his old club must now act when the transfer window opens in the new year. "We've got 11 weeks or so until the window opens," said Murphy. "Do they make a move in January and find a short-term fix, or just pay what they need to pay for Guehi? I would get Guehi in January. Maybe Palace won't let it happen, but he's perfect in so many ways. He knows the league won't need time to settle. He's calm, he's quick, and he's a good footballer. He's everything you want in a center-back." "Liverpool will need to do something," Murphy added. "I would go all out on Guehi. They've got a relationship with Guehi and his camp. Liverpool came in for him in the same way they tried to get Van Dijk when Southampton asked for more money at the last minute and the deal fell through. So Liverpool waited and got him in the next window. For such an important position, you need the best or the one you want." Ibrahima Konaté has been released early from the France squad as he strives to recover from a thigh issue that saw him limp off during last weekend's Premier League defeat at Chelsea, and with Joe Gomez having featured for just 29 minutes in the top flight this season, Murphy admits the onus is on Van Dijk to remain available. "From a short-term perspective, I think if Virgil were to get an injury, that's a huge problem for Liverpool," said Murphy. Speaking to ACOdds.com, Konate has shown he's capable of overcoming bad spells. "His consistency last season means it was his best season. We know he's capable. Gomez is also fit and capable. Before the window had shut, I thought Guehi was more important than Alexander Isak. The only reason that might not matter is if Virgil stays fit, and he's got a great habit of staying fit for large parts of the season. He's in great physical condition, and center back is probably the best position when it comes to running and doing less miles." Martin Zubimendi makes hard Liverpool admission as Arsenal transfer decision, explained Martin. Zubimendi finally made the move to the Premier League during the summer as he joined Arsenal after rejecting a move to Liverpool the previous year. Martin Zubimendi has revealed that Mikel Arteta was exceptionally convincing in his decision to join Arsenal, with the Spanish boss delivering the most persuasive proposition during a pivotal moment in determining his career path. Zubimendi secured his move to Arsenal through a 74 million or 55 mate deal this past summer, with the North London outfit paying beyond his 68 Mellors, 51-meter release clause to negotiate more favorable payment terms with Real Sociedad. The 26-year-old subsequently penned a 5-year deal with the Gunners, just 12 months after turning down a move to Liverpool. It initially appeared the Spain international would complete a switch to Anfield in 2024 as the Reds triggered Zubimendi's release clause. However, a late change of heart saw the midfielder pull out of the deal to stay with his hometown club, with Miko Marino heading to Arsenal instead. A year later, and the chance to reunite with Marino in the Premier League at Arsenal proved too tempting to turn down, Zubimendi admits. When any proposal comes, the first question has to be whether to stay at La Real, he told The Guardian, and it wasn't the right moment to go. I stayed, and it was a hard season, but I learned a lot. I wanted to step forward, take that weight after others went. Reflecting on his satisfaction with how events have unfolded, Zubimendi shared, I had watched Arsenal and I liked everything I saw. In terms of passion, youth, the feeling you got watching them, and when Mikel Arteta called me, well, if you've ever spoken to him, you'll know that he can be very convincing. He's mad about football, crazy about having everything under control, trying to get something from every little detail. He's very clear on everything, and the proposal he had was the best for me. Zubimendi acknowledges that he needs to adapt to the Premier League, but enhancing his skills was a key factor in his decision to join the division. The Basque midfielder feels he's up to the task. The pivot has to be someone who is very complete. He has to have the best qualities with the ball, and without it, plus the physical capability. He has to be able to do everything, he added. It completes you to move. It would be easy to stay in my comfort zone, but I wanted to leave that environment where I was with Real Sociedad and grow in a personal sense, to see another culture, another football. The more you come out of that, the more you develop. It's in those situations where you are pushed to the limit that you get the best out of yourself. I think I have a lot to learn in the Premier League, a lot to improve, but I think I can do that. Hugo Ekitike gets ruthless verdict from French media after first start for France. French media have given their verdict on Hugo Ekitike after the Liverpool striker made his first start for France against Azerbaijan in World Cup qualifying. Hugo Ekitike received a harsh rating from French media after failing to replicate his fine form for Liverpool in the international arena. Ekitike has settled quickly at Anfield since his summer switch from Eintracht Frankfurt, with only a needless red card against Southampton in the Carabao Cup for whipping off his shirt in celebration, tarring his record. Those impressive displays earned him his maiden senior call-ups from France manager Didier Deschamps last month. Following cameo appearances off the bench against Ukraine and Iceland, Ekitike was given a starting berth for Friday's World Cup qualifier against Azerbaijan, lining up alongside Kylian Mbappe in attack. Mbappe netted for the 10th consecutive match and bagged his 13th goal in 14 outings this campaign as France cruised to a 3-0 victory. The Real Madrid forward's 53rd international strike, following a mesmerizing solo run, moved him to within 4 of Olivier Giroud's national record of 57 goals. Adrien Rabiot and Florian Thauvin both found the net in the second period as Deschamps' men maintained their perfect record with 3 victories from 3 in Group D. Ekitike, who was replaced by Jean-Philippe Mateta with 11 minutes remaining, had a more subdued evening compared to attacking partner Mbappe. Consequently, he was slapped with a meager 4.10 rating from French publication L'Équipe, who said of his display, "Plenty of effort and energy, but little end product. He struck 8 times, hit the base of the post, but missed the target too often. His movement was good, yet his execution lacked precision." Only Bayern Munich's Michael Olise, a player who has been linked with Liverpool, received a lower mark. Password 10. L'Équipe said, struggled to impact the game, lacked sharpness and cohesion with teammates. Predictably, Mbappe, who picked up an ankle knock late in proceedings, topped the ratings with 8.10, while most of the squad earned 5s and 6s. Meanwhile, La Dépêche showed slightly more kindness towards Ekitike, awarding him 5.5 of 10. They commented, A timid start, before becoming the useful link for the opening goal. His driven shot hit the post. He went close again after a fine solo run, even tried an audacious backheel full of initiative, if not success. Once more, the majority of players earned 5s and 6s, with Mbappe topping the charts with 7.510. Ekitike is expected to receive more opportunities to impress Deschamps, who has been tracking the 23-year-old. Speaking back in August, following his maiden call-up, the World Cup winning captain and manager said, "Hugo, because of what he did last season and at Liverpool, we were already following him at Frankfurt. Good for him. It's great that he's effective, but there's competition. I'm not going to pile up players, but he has the potential for the French team." Ekitike will be hoping to leave a more substantial mark when France resume their World Cup qualifying journey away to Iceland on Monday. The 2022 runners-up wrap up their Group D fixtures in November when they welcome Ukraine before traveling to Azerbaijan. Before then, Ekitike will be aiming to reclaim his spot in the Reds' starting Abentis over fellow new signing Alexander Isak after being benched for the 2-1 loss at Chelsea.